Well, hello, my soul friends. It is Victoria, the soul nurturer, and I often say that I've slowed down my pace on videos. I only want to do them when I feel called to do so. I feel like I have a message on my heart to share, or it's a new moon or a full moon. So we happen to have a full moon tomorrow in Aquarius at 5:04 Pacific time, and I feel very called to speak to this one. And I'll tell you why in a moment. But first, we're going to drop in because I need to. I don't know about any of you out there, but I'd like to know, mostly my empath friends, my sisters and brothers out there. I did not sleep last night at all. My head was just, my mind was going out to everything that's going out in the world. I'd say the last 3 days I've been very much feeling into the emotional climate, that everything going on in the world, and it's been a lot, right? And so I'll tell you more about that in a moment. But I'm a little sleepy today, working on a little bit of sleep, but I have a message to share. So let's drop in together for just a moment. Close your eyes with me if you feel called to, and if you're not driving, and just follow that breath inward to come inside with your awareness into your individual home, your body, your inner world, where no one but you can control what's going on, except for you and God. The only occupants of this home are you and the divine. So just breathing in with willingness to just be as present as you can to yourself as I unfold the message on my heart and share about the full moon. It's always important to notice how our bodies are feeling in each and every moment. What's our baseline in the moment? As I said, I'm very sleepy, but I also feel really joyful. A lot of expanded energy I feel in my being, and some rising hope, which is what I want to speak to about today. So when you're ready, just go ahead and open your eyes and come on back. I'm going to try to do this in a really chill way, because a lot of times when I do these videos, I rush through content, and then I think, oh, I didn't say this or that or the other. So I'm just going to imagine we're just having a conversation. I also noticed that I often think, I wish I could record videos the way that I unfold my sessions. Something is very, I mean, my clients would speak to this, but something very magical happens. And I feel this shift from just being, shifting out of my human experience into the fullness of my spirit, and claiming the space as sacred and letting God, creator, divine, universe, however you imagine or connect, to work through me. So I'm trying to get to that space in these videos instead of feeling the awkwardness of looking at a camera. So what do I want to say about this full moon tomorrow on August 22nd, Sunday, 5:04 a.m. Pacific time? Obviously, wherever you are, it's a different time. But this is one thing I wanted to start with, is that I was noticing a lot of people refer to this as a blue moon. And I was like, oh, wait, a blue moon? Isn't a blue moon when there are two full moons in the same month? And that's what I always thought. And I think a lot of people have thought that. What do you think a blue moon is? Before I share a little bit more about that, what's your first impression of it? What is it? So I got curious about that because I was hearing other people referencing it differently. So that really got my attention. So I did a little research. A full moon, a blue moon anyway, the original term came from, I think, the Farmer's Almanac, or it was found there, or attributed to this astronomical awareness that typically we have 3 full moons per season. A blue moon is when we have 4 full moons in the season. And the third full moon is called the blue moon, which that still puzzles me. Why not the fourth? So I couldn't find any information on that. Maybe you know. But this full moon is the second full moon in Aquarius. So we had a full moon in July in Aquarius. I think it was 1 degree of Aquarius. And this full moon tomorrow is at 29 degrees Aquarius, the critical degrees. That's another interesting thing about that. 29 degrees, if you have this in your chart, it's a real potent. It's the peak energy of the sign of where what that degree is. So it can feel like a real push. Like, okay, did we get what we needed from this time with the Aquarius moon? Right? Did we get what we needed? And how do we translate that to where we're going? So I was just kind of looking at all these little, like, putting these little pieces of the puzzle together for tomorrow. There's so much, a lot going on. I'm not going to cover it all. But so remember, a full moon is an opposition. That is where the sun and the moon are in opposition, 180 degrees apart, away from each other. Not away from each other, apart. I didn't do really well in geometry. So opposite. Now, when you think about opposition, what's your first feeling or thought? Opposition. It's like, for me, it's like, oh man, opposition, especially for me as a peacekeeper, a heart of a peacekeeper anyway. I don't like opposition. I don't like conflict, right? But I had a friend, actually, I think it was my friend, Erin, who's an astrologer. And gosh, Erin, I'm sorry, I'm not remembering your last name. Is it Elmer? Anyway, she's a great astrologer. And she actually shed some light on oppositions and said, it's an opportunity for us to have more clarity, more perspective, to see more like the opposite, right? So that's another puzzle piece for me. So I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. Slow myself down. There's a lot to say here. So we have the sun in 29 degree Leo. We're just about to exit Leo energy, which has been playful and just really, I always think of Leo is just magnanimous and bold and really wanting to bring our unique expression to really take center stage of our lives, right? So there's the sun, and then the moon in 29 degrees Aquarius, the moon, our emotional experience. And both of these signs are very individual. I'm going to say what I heard in my head. Leo energy can be more about me. Okay, a little bit. We have to watch. I have a Leo moon. There's Leo energy. We have to watch if we're being too much focused on ourselves, right? Aquarius is more like this. I want to be myself. And it's like a real desire for individual, unique expression. However, Aquarius is all about the collective. So this phrase, I'm going to put these puzzle pieces together at some point. So listen to the end. They're just coming as they come. So, I often use the phrase, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, which I often attribute to Pierre de Chardin. And I want to correct that because I have been on a real search of checking what I believe. What do I believe? Where did I get that? How is that true? How do I know that to be true? I think this is the vibe of the full moon for all of us, by the way. It's the vibe of Saturn square Uranus, which is the universal aspect for all of us for 2021. What isn't true about the old way? Why do I believe that anyway? Is it true? Is it not? What would be a more effective belief and the more effective way to look at things and a more effective way to be in the world? Actually, I don't want to say effective. That's more Saturn. Uranus is more innovative. So, effective and innovative because we have Saturn and Uranus. So really checking what I believe, like in a really deep way. Why did I believe the blue moon meant that there are two full moons in a calendar month? Well, okay, I'm all over the place. Come on back. I want to just complete that story. there was an article written in the 40s, and I don't remember the man's name, but he referred to the blue moon as the 2 in a calendar year, and that became the popular reference of blue moon. And so now both are kind of accepted, right? These two very different perspectives are accepted. Like, yeah, that's true and that's true. That was a puzzle piece I wanted to get to. Okay, sometimes I just have to let myself go and it comes. So these opposite, we can see now more clearly this Leo expression and the Aquarius expression. And so the spiritual beings having a human experience. Okay, I got lost on that too. So the correct attribution, is that the word? The person who said that initially, or some form of spiritual beings having a human experience, which was surprising to me because I call him one of my spiritual teachers, Wayne Dyer. So Wayne Dyer said something much more closer to spiritual beings having a human experience than Pierre de Chardin. Nowhere in Pierre de Chardin's work was this phrase. So, wow, that's information. That's clear. I researched that. I found that to be true. Okay. Another puzzle piece. Anyway, my spin for this full moon tomorrow is, yes, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Right now, everything going on, I was having a conversation with my beloved soul niece yesterday, and we were communicating via texting, and it got a little charged. And that too was purposeful, because I stayed up all night praying and thinking more about my point of view. And then this breakthrough came for me, which I'm going to share for you in a moment, and I hope will help you. So my rephrase of this idea to fit with this full moon in Aquarius tomorrow. By the way, we're in Aquarius right now, so you're already feeling this. Moon in Aquarius is we're individuals having a collective experience. We don't live in this world alone. We share this world. This world isn't ours to do what we want to do with, and we have to find a way in this collective home to coexist, right? So this is what I want to talk about today. And how am I going to spin this out? I don't know. This is where I look at my notes, but if I could just let you come inside my head in the morning when I get my downloads, it would be so much easier. But I have to translate it and then share it. So, okay. So in addition to this opposition, where we're going to be able to see if we are willing, these very, very opposite points of view, these very, very opposite ways of being, the full moon illuminates and brings forward more sacred awareness. In fact, what I was just saying, that these dynamics, this emotional, physical, spiritual, all happening right now. We are in a huge, huge transformational cycle. I believe that COVID is the way to draw us into a deeper transformational cycle. Yes, we are not only addressing the physical, what's happening or what we believe is happening, but also the emotional. How is it making us feel? How is what it's making us feel connected to other places in our life that need to be healed? That's transformation. And also, let's see what it is. Oh, and then the spiritual. How can I witness what is happening with my spiritual lens, with faith, with trust? Okay, that perspective too. But more than ever with this Aquarius moon, and also again the overarching theme of Saturn square Uranus. Saturn is old structures, old way of being. Uranus is innovative changes for transformation, for the collective. How can we begin to expand from what we need to remembering we have to factor in what we all need, so the individual's having a collective experience. So moon is also conjuncting Jupiter. Okay, so this is why I think I feel so buoyant today. Jupiter expands energy. It can feel like joy and exuberance, but it could also amplify the issues that are already present, already going on. But I feel, the way that I feel this today, and this is what I always suggest to people, if you look at astrology, Don't read it and decide how you're going to feel. Feel how you're feeling and see how that matches what the astrology is saying. Because that's another way to really understand it and know it. So I woke up this morning and it's like, oh, I feel like I got through a storm for 3 days of weeping and reviewing and looking at my side of the equation of any disconnect with communication or not being willing to see other points of view, which is happening, I believe, for all of us. Now, come on, admit it. I'm being real here. I found myself in a very stuck place. Why? Well, Sun in Leo is a fixed sign. Moon in Aquarius is also fixed. Saturn and Uranus, Aquarius and Taurus, fixed. There's a lot of fixed energy. What does fixed energy translate to? Stubbornness. I'm not budging. This is the way. I'm right. And if we are in our egos, even more, digging our heels in the sand. Is that how that goes? Toes in the sand? One of those. Not budging. I always think of Taurus. Fixed energy is my reference there, like a mule or a bull, just very stubborn, not going to budge from my position. And so when there's all this fixed energy and we feel this chaos going in the world, we become even more rigid. Because why? When we're in our human experience and we're triggered in fear, that's our safety mechanism. So I want to get to the point here. There's so much energy going on. Let us utilize it for individual healing and transformation that is going to support the collective. It has to. We have to consider others and be willing to look at different perspectives. So this is what came to me this morning when I was thinking about this. It kind of was like my breakthrough. Now, I don't do couples counseling, but on occasion I have. On occasion I've coached people to help each other see different perspectives. This is the most healing thing. If we are willing to move out of our fixed, rigid positions and sink into some compassion and sink into some empathy and sink into some curiosity about what am I missing and what do I need? What do I need to see that I haven't seen before? And questioning our beliefs, being willing to just put our beliefs down. And this is how you do it if you're willing. And I invite you to do this. Division, polarity, there is something in the middle where, and this is what a full moon is, the oppositions, where these energies, very, very different, kind of can merge or can express in a unique way for the potential of that, right? So here's what I was thinking. And I want to know if you're going to play along with me. If you do, I'd love to know how this was for you. If we want big change and big transformation, we have to play a bigger game. And 2 things before I get to my little technique. And that is, yesterday, again, I've been in this. Anyone else, I really want to know. So when I was getting really stirred up or pulled or read an article or I'd see a post, I'd go into prayer. And yesterday, then, in answer to prayer, I kept getting so much imagery. Like, that's how God speaks to me. I get imagery and then I have to sit with it and like, what does this mean? One of the spontaneous imageries I got was a boxing match. And two fighters, they've got all their people on each side, like, yeah, here are the facts. I got it from this news agency. Oh no, I got this from Facebook. No, I got this from that. I saw a friend of a friend of a friend said, and then they're like, getting the boxers ready, and then the boxers go in the middle of the ring. I'm watching this whole imagery and like, wow, yeah, that's what's happening. And then I think to myself, nobody wins this boxing match. Yeah, we could have a knockout. What does that benefit? Knocking somebody else out with what you believe? How is that beneficial to the collective? And this is the thing I'm just really inviting all of us, including myself, mostly myself, to ask, is this helping not only myself, but the collective? Is my rigid view here supporting anyone? Is my fear contributing anything? And what is needed? I need to shift perspective so I can contribute something different. If we don't contribute something different, we're going to be in this locked positions, fixed positions, coming back into box and going back to our corners, being fed by the information we're getting from other people, and then fighting some more. It's not working for me. I don't know about you. It hurts my heart, honestly. It hurts my heart. So here come my full moon tears. Okay. So here's my idea. Oh, the other imagery I had, and this became very clear to me. I was like, okay, this makes sense to me, but I was still looking at it from my perspective, which I'm going to share. I'm going to be really transparent here. This imagery came of, I kept seeing wildfires, and of course I thought, oh, this is the other thing I'm grieving about, the other thing that I'm really feeling tender about. I have no control over the climate. I have no control over these wildfires and people in harm's way, not only people in their homes, but the wildlife. So, but I was like, no, it's not about that. It's something else. What's being shown to me? So I stayed with the imagery. And then I saw the fire trucks coming in to help the people, to help that fire. And what unfolded, and this was just my interpretation, it was my imagery, and this is what came to me, is that for me, and this is where I was yesterday, and I still am today, until I can shift my perspective more or be willing to see something else. I'm open. I am open. And I'm inviting all of us to be. So what I got as I sat down with my imagery, was the virus is the wildfire, and it is a world fire. This is not just our country. I don't mean to get too political here, but I'm trying to bring something forward that I think is relevant to this astrology. This is a world fire. This is not just our country. It's not just our government telling us what to do. It's the world trying to figure out a solution. So for me, the fire trucks were, in my interpretation, is the vaccine. It's the best we can do to come and help people. At least that's what I believe part of the collective is trying to do. We've got an out of control fire going. How do we manage it? Here we go. Let's send the fire trucks in. Okay. But whatever, that was my interpretation. And that's where I've been looking for the highest good for all, not just me, but for everyone. You can interpret that any way you want to. But the thing of that imagery that was more important and more the message for me is that we have to stop throwing gasoline on the fire and making the fire bigger. Whatever that looks like for you, whether it's rhetoric, whether it's, whatever. And this is where it's the personal thing. But I invite you to get out of your ego, get out of your fixed place. And my sweet soul niece she questioned me on a post I made where I said the highest good for all. And she asked me, who decides who the highest good for all is? And I said, well, God does. And so that too is another puzzle piece for me. And I know we all have various beliefs, faith beliefs anyway, but we're not God. And when our ego's in the way, we completely disconnect from wisdom, from divine wisdom. So for me, yes, the highest good for all is when we surrender our fixed position, our ego look, and say, okay. And here's how you know when you're ego, you're fighting extra hard for it. You're triggered. You're really triggered when someone disagrees and with what you're trying to say. And underneath ego is all of our wounded stuff. So another layer to invite you into is the emotional realm of that, the healing possibility for the individual to contribute to the collective. When you're intensely triggered, now I want to say this without triggering you, this is a complex, intense issue. There's no simple solution at all, right? We probably would have it by now. But I want to say this, that unless you're engaging with your own work and you're trying to you think you're trying to help, check yourself. Are you coming from ego, or are you coming from a true, authentic, this is a contribution to the collective? But if you feel triggered and by something, and this is where I'm holding back because I'm afraid I'm going to trigger someone, but I'm going to say it, because this is where we need to look, and this is where I've been looking. If you feel like your freedom is being taken, or you feel They're being asked to do something you don't want to do. Okay, that could be a real thing. Absolutely. I'm not saying to deny that. I'm saying, where else has that been true in your life? I'm asking you to do this to take some of the charge off. Where have you felt blocked or your freedom limited before? Go heal and look at those wounded places, and then look at what is. Not saying your perspective will change, but it may not be as charged. Just a little contribution there. Take it or leave it. Okay, so here's my little idea that came to me. If you want to play a big game with me, okay? And try not to look at my snarly hair. I never noticed how many snarls I had until I got a light ring. But I guess it's fitting. I guess my soul got a little snarly. I think a lot of our souls got snarly. This is a time for this chaos to bring forward all of our snarls, our tangles, our frustrations, our wounds, our shadow. And this is what a full moon does as well. It shows us those shadowy places, and a shadowy place can be something you're absolutely shocked or surprised that you even thought that thought or you felt that feeling. Shadow needs to be brought to the light too, to be healed. All of this is the individual healing for the collective healing. Individual experience, having a collective experience. Okay, so when I work with couples or when I mediate, I've done that on occasion. One way to do this is to, first of all, you need two willing people. I was talking to a mediator yesterday about, honestly, it's been on my heart. How can I help? What can we do? Can we have a group mediation? And she actually said that she didn't feel some people would be willing to have that conversation. And more heartache, right? Willingness, folks. Let's get some willingness. Anyway, so you have each person share the opposite person's perspective as if it were theirs. And you try it on. So in other words, if say husband and wife are having a disagreement over something, so I would say to the husband, you be her perspective and tell me what's going on as if it's happening to you. And what happens there is I see them sink into deeper compassion. All the ego falls and all the fighting. There's I get it. I get what you're saying. I get what you're feeling. Okay. And then when you can see the opposite perspective or actually embody it, then I believe we can find a way to not one need fits all, but needs factored in a way that does support all. This is complex, folks, super complex. So what I had to do is what I would suggest you do. Take it to prayer, take it to prayer, take it to prayer. Over and over again, right? But also look at yourself. Spiritual being having a human experience, put that sacred awareness on your human experience. Get honest, get real. Check yourself. We are the ones the change happens through, okay? So whatever position you have regarding COVID or anything else, you don't have to do COVID. That's just what was on my heart and mind. Say you're having a fixed, stuck, in opposition with somebody that you love. And that's really hard when we have those, isn't it? It's almost like some part of us, it's like, how could this be? I love this person, right? Try on their point of view. Try on their perspective. Speak it out loud. This is, like I'm role playing now. I'm experiencing, X, Y, and Z, what you've heard the person say, or what you imagine the people that have the opposite position of you are fighting for or trying to make happen. Okay, I want to hear if you're willing to play along with me and what that opens up in you. What awareness came? I woke up this morning after kind of doing that last night with just more joy in my heart and more hope. More hope, like, maybe this is the way to notice the opposition and utilize the energy of it for the greatest healing for all of us, And if you are definitely someone who believes that you're a spiritual being having a human experience, then I imagine you believe that your walk on earth is purposeful in that direction. We're not here just to reinforce the human experience, but enjoy it, but we're here to deliver our spiritual gifts. And everybody has them, and everybody is needed, and everything is purposeful to unfold what is ours to bring into the world and for our collective unfolding. I think I got it. Let me know if you have any questions. And I really want to hear comments about what you think about what I said. And hey, even if I triggered you, let me know. I am choosing today to just live in more compassion for myself and for all of us. I kept having a song come to my mind this morning. Let's see if I can get it. It was a Beatles song. Something, oh, no more fussing and fighting, my friends. Life is very short and there's no time. Whew. So what does the next line go? So I will ask you once again, and we can work it out. So go listen to that song and take what's helpful from my heart to yours, and like this video if you did. Share it if you feel called. Subscribe if you want to hear more from me. Take good care of yourself and those you love, and everyone in this world is on some level someone you love, because hey, we are all love. So let this Aquarius energy really bring you to the highest possibility for yourself and the collective. One last quick thing, and then I'm going to wrap up. I always forget there's always one last little nugget there, that as soon as the full moon is in culmination at 5:04 tomorrow Pacific time, it quickly goes from Aquarius to Pisces at 5:44 a.m., which is like, okay, illuminating what we can do for the collective. And then what is Pisces all about? Compassion, dreaming, visioning, something new, soft energy. So we're going to take all that we're witnessing, and that's why I'm inviting you to lean in, even do this process today. Lean into those hard edges, because by tomorrow we're going to dissolve it with that yummy Pisces moon of compassion and dissolving anything that is not of spirit, not of higher potential. And then the sun moves from Leo to Virgo, and Virgo is service oriented, and Virgo is connected to healing and the healer in practical ways. So all this is so purposeful. So tomorrow, may you be just get your insights, let what needs to be illuminated beginning today, culminating tomorrow, and continuing. I mean, you're still gonna, full moon's kind of, they say 2 days before, 2 days after, but stay open to those insights and illuminated higher perspectives, and then put it to work. Virgo wants you to put what you know to work in a practical way, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's making amends to people, maybe it's just revisiting in a practical way what serves you and others, and service is the key for Virgo. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for spending some of your precious time with me. Remember, we're all here to unfold our potential, nurture your beautiful soul potential, and if I could be of support, reach out to me at Victoria Jaswick, JAZWIC. I don't even know how to spell my name. VictoriaJaswick.com. Someone needs a nap. That's my website. Or you can message me on Instagram, _soul nurturer. And I'd love to hear from you. So take good care of you as we take good care of each other and our world. Thanks for being with me.